Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we are going to be looking at some very special robes, and you know what, we might as well go and say hi to him at some point, and that is Ormus. So Ormus's robes, I hope he's not naked. We have Ormus's robes is a Dusk Shroud, and Dusk Shroud is the elite version. It does not have any bonus to defense on it, but it is a 482 defense armor because it is the elite version of the quilted. It does have a strength requirement of 77, which is relatively low, and a level requirement of level 75, which is relatively high. Now, Ormus's is famous for not dropping as you would want it to drop. So Ormus's robes have a lot of variables on them, and we're going to go over those variables as we continue forward. So right off the bat there, you see that it has 20% faster cast. Now that is a static effect, which is nice. It also has cold skill, lightning skill, and fire skill damage. And every single one of these rolls with a 5% variance, which means that they can roll as low as 10% and they can roll as high as 15%. And this becomes an issue because we also have another variance, which is +3 to a random skill on the sorceress tree, which is kind of nuts. And we're going to go over that in detail. We also have 20 defense added to this item, which does vary 10 to 20. And we have regenerate mana, which varies from 10 to 15%. So we have so many variables on this. The regenerate mana varies, right? So we got number 1. The defense varies. Number 2. The skill that the item has spawned on it varies. Number 3. The fire skill damage varies. Number 4. The lightning skill varies. Number 5. The cold skill damage varies. Number 6. So we are looking at 6 different variables on this item, which is absolutely insane. And if that's not enough, we have a 7th variable of the base defense of the item, which rolls between 371 and 487 defense. So we are looking at a huge chance that this turns out crap. Now we also need to talk about the skill. So the skill cannot roll certain things. So basically it can roll any skill on the sorceress's tree with exception to the following. So it cannot roll fire mastery, it cannot roll hydra, it cannot roll lightning mastery, it cannot roll frozen orb, and it cannot roll cold mastery. So keep that in mind as we go forward and we think about potential plus to skills that this item could have. Now I have rolled a +3 blizzard specifically for this video, and that is a very nice choice. But imagine, if you will, that you find this armor, it rolls +3 blizzard, but it only rolls 10% cold. It's kind of silly. Or maybe it rolled +3 to lightning, and it only rolled 10% to lightning. Or maybe it rolled +3 to fireball, but it only rolled 10% to fire. These are the kind of silly things that go on with Ormus's robes. And they do make for some very interesting pieces of equipment, because obviously you cannot find a +3 skill armor. The highest that you can get is +2, right? You can use like Chains of Honor or something. And so this means that you can get potentially one more plus to skill to a specific skill to really beef up that skill as high as possible. And then they also give you a bonus to the damage versus that particular skill, which is very nice because you would be giving up 2 points to your masteries. And if we take a look at, for instance, let's look at lightning mastery really quickly, and let's get an idea of what lightning mastery does for us. So lightning mastery D2, and if we look at the amount that it increases every level, we will see it tends to go up about, I want to say about 12%. Looks like about 12% each level, right? So if Ormus's robes has at least 12% increase to lightning skill damage, then it counters the loss of 1 point in lightning mastery, but not 2, because 2 points in lightning mastery would be 24%. So it's very interesting. However, if you do find a perfect Ormus's robes for cold skills tends to be the really good one, because you don't really need a large amount of cold mastery. Because cold mastery, the way that cold mastery works, reducing the resistance of the monster kind of caps out at 200%. You can't really get any more benefit out of it at that point. So you don't really need a huge amount of that, and you don't actually have very many sources of plus cold skill damage, because unlike fire mastery and unlike lightning mastery, the cold skill damage is actually very, very useful. Not to say that lightning and fire is not useful, but you're losing lightning and fire damage by not having plus the skills, because fire mastery also applies that same bonus, and lightning mastery, whereas cold mastery does not. So cold mastery applies something that you're not actually getting, which is really sweet. So if you could find yourself a +3 blizzard, or a +3 glacial spike, or maybe a +3 frost nova, or whatever it is that you're specifically looking for in the cold tree, I think Ormus's ends up being one of the better choices. Now, again, it's very difficult to find this in the correct shape that you need it to be in, and that's really part of the issue. You can also socket this. It is lacking any kind of resistances whatsoever, so maybe you might want to put a rune in there. Maybe you might want to put a Cham rune for cannot be frozen, or perhaps you're going to put something else in there to beef up your hit points, or whatever it is that you're specifically looking to do with your character. As a sorceress, it's really not like a huge big deal. The other thing that we've got going on here is the all the cold skill and lightning skill and fire skill damage bonuses. So this can actually be utilized on characters that are not a sorceress. And basically what you would use this on is something perhaps like a hurricane druid to get the cold skill damage and the faster cast, or perhaps you would use this on a vengeance paladin who is getting a huge bonus from lightning, fire, and cold damage. You could also potentially use this on a cold Amazon even to increase your cold skill damage and your fire skill damage, maybe a dual spec fire and cold Amazon. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of really good choices for this particular armor, despite it has a lot of unique modifiers. And you, in the end, you have to kind of work out the math and see whether it actually would be useful for your particular character. But as you can see right now, I don't actually have very high blizzard. I have level 3 blizzard. And let me just go ahead and cap it out just because. And we're going to cap out the synergies too. Why not? So we'll grab Ice Bolt, Ice Blast, and we'll grab Glacial Spike. So we got this capped. And you can see we're at 2,640 to 2,844. And when we put this particular item on with Blizzard, Blizzard, where are you at, Blizzard? When we put this particular item on, we get a pretty nice, healthy boost in damage to this. I mean, look at how high we go from 2,640, 2,844, to 3,795, 4,043. A very large boost in damage there from rockin' +3 Blizzard Ormus's robes with the 15% cold skill damage. I mean, just a very nice boost in damage in general. Now, granted, if we were to run a +2 skill armor, we would get a very nice bonus as well. And I do have +2 skills right here. So let's take a look and see what the +2 brings us to. So the +2 brings us to 3,080, 3,292. And the Ormus brings us to 3,795, 4,043. So definitely a much larger bonus between the +2 armor and the Ormuses with +3 Blizzard and 15% cold. So as you can see there, for cold skills, Ormuses really works quite well, but not as well for like a lightning-based skill or a fire-based skill, because the fire mastery is being countered at that point. Now let's look at fire mastery too, just to make sure, because I do know that the individual masteries are different. One mastery, for instance, lightning mastery, adds more than fire mastery does. So let's take a look and see what fire mastery has for its per level bonus. So looks like with fire mastery on a per level bonus, we're looking at what, 156, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're looking at 5, 6, 7% per level. So we're missing 2 skills with obviously if we have this armor on, because it has no plus to skills. So we're looking at 7 plus 7, which is 14. So we would have to have a 15% fire skill bonus to counter, or completely counter and provide a little bit extra over the fire mastery loss. So that's very interesting. If you did have a +3 fireball, or maybe a +3 meteor, for instance, Ormus's robe with 15% fire, it would effectively be better than a +2 armor. It's very interesting there. Now, if you wanted to find Ormus's robes, where would you go to find them? Well, let's go over to Silo's Pen and let's take a look and see what the drop chances are on this and in what places. I've actually found quite a few Ormus's robes in my time, but that they never seem to roll the quite right stats that I want them to. So we're going to pretend we have about 150% magic find, and as you can see here, a very limited list of monsters that Ormus's robe can drop from. I mean, we got Mephisto, Baal, and Diablo in Hell difficulty. All of those are quest kills, and then of course Mephisto, Baal, and Diablo in Hell difficulty with no quest kill. But 1 in 914 chance from Mephisto in Hell is not bad. 1 in 940 from Diablo, and 1 in 948 from Baal. And then we also have Neelathak down here with a 1 in 7,200 chance. Let's go to super uniques and let's see what we've got for those. So our highest chance there is still Neelathak, and it looks like we got a pretty good chance from Battlemaid Serena in the Ruined Temple. Ice Hawk, Riftwing. This is mainly going to be a Hell difficulty item, I can tell, and the list really isn't even that long. That's the whole list for super uniques. It's all Hell difficulty, no Nightmare. The Cow King has a really terrible chance of dropping it, but 1 in 50,000 over there. And then, of course, if we go by areas, I'm pretty sure this is going to be mainly level 85 zones. I'm not really second guessing myself on this one. So we've got Ancient Tunnels, of course, City of the Damned, Claw Viper Temple level 2, which is an 85 zone. The Crypt, Disused Fane, Disused Reliquary. Most of these are level 85 zones. Not all of them, but most of them. Maggot Layer level 3 is an 85 zone. Let's look at probability, though. Let's see what's the highest probability here. Looks like Icy Cellar, Abominables, Forgotten Sands, Arachnids, Infernal Pit, Balrogs. Not really the greatest chance from regular monsters here, but interesting. Ormus's robes. We're gonna go see Ormus before we leave. This is important. We can't look at Ormus's robes without saying hi to Ormus. So let's go and say hi to Ormus, shall we? Oh, Ormus! Ormus, I've got your robes. Ormus, I've got your robes.
You now speak to Ormus. He was once a great mage, but now lives like a rat in a sinking vessel. You have questions for Ormus, and doubt in yourself. Ormus sees a strange dichotomy in you, as he does in all would-be heroes. Speak to him, and he may grant you wisdom in turn. Or turn from him and seek wisdom in thyself.
Okay, Ormus.
You have defeated the primeval in combat. Ormus is impressed beyond words. But staying here will not end this conflict. You must enter the infernal gate and stop Diablo once and for all.
Okay, Ormus. As you can see, Ormus talks in a third person. Can you imagine if I talked in the third person? GGM is hungry. GGM would like some food. GGM does not want to talk to Kane. Kane is a buttface. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when they are in the third person, as Ormus loves to talk. And as always, keep watching.